Howdy, folks. How's everybody doing out there? Today, I decided to do a little bit of um, earth moving. I'm, I'm well. You guys who are regulars will notice the hill I'm about to show you. It's gone down significantly, and then I'm little by little. I'm trying to even it out. I've got another three uh, truckloads coming. That hill was one truckload. I've got three more truckloads coming in to raise it up because it's got to come up to this level roughly, and yeah. So there's that. So here I go, just jumping on the tractor and moving dirt for the rest of the day. Or rather, until it rains. Let's switch the camera view here so you guys can have a nice view of the area. And I'll come by every now and then and do the usual checks. Let's see. We got the tractor there. Let me go a little bit. I don't know where I can go. You know what? Let's go outside here. Let's go. Oh, where to go? Where to go? Where to go? I'll give you guys a nice view from the front. So we'll do that. We'll go right from that tree there. I think that's a good view. I mean, well, looking toward the back. At least it'll. Yeah. There we go. Here we go. Here we go. And yeah, that's a good solid view of the place. And this is the well, this is where the next building is going to be. Gotta get rid of this thing. Yeah. How's everybody doing out there in YouTube land? Hey, Jeff, good to see you. Mark, hey, roll bar on the tractor, yeah. Let's see. Well, I'm still working on, yeah, I'm getting ready. I'm switching gears because I got plenty of time for the blocks, but the steel building's coming in late April. So what I want to do is late April, early May. So I want to have this ready. And it's gotten to the point that the block is really taxing on me. So the next few rows should be fairly easy, but I want to give my limbs a rest because my left knee from falling and the right elbow from the repetitive work is still sore. So I want to give it a couple weeks at least, and I figure that's a good time to do this, and then I'm going to start on the. I'm also going to start on the septic because that's what I have. I have the septic scheduled for this month, so hopefully I can do the septic as well. Um, and yes, it is. You guessed it. Time for the plate compactor. What I do have to do though is prior to the plate compactor, I got to pick up a few little twigs here and there. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to grab my pick 'em up stick. There's a few twigs laying around there and stuff. But then now comes the plate compactor. You get it, the fun part. Slow but fun. Just going to look around for some buried twigs. They're easy to find because of the stripes. When you see a stripe like this is where the twig ended up. See? You can barely tell the color. But some of them are easy to see. Some of them look like mud. I still got another 6 inches, so this is just minor, but still. I'm gonna compact it now. It's gonna be a lot easier without all the tools. Some mosquito bit that part of the back just below the shoulder blade where no one can scratch. It gets annoying. You're back. October. Yeah. So come September, I'll probably start. The trust is arrived in August, so I'll probably just be doing the roofing in September. So I'll call in for. I'll go over there for 3 years ago. Go back home and trust. Once I got the permit, the windows are still another 5 6 weeks out, and I got some customers stock at the local state. So when I'm ready for them, trusses. Okay, they finally gave me 3 months ago. They finally gave me a date of August 7th. Put in my everything back in October. It's nuts. And I went to the Princeton's bar. Yeah. Well, no. There's another where you got to climb up a set of stairs to walk. Well, I went to every place, and they were all, well, first of all, they were all overpriced, but they were all recessed. 26 weeks, 10 months out. Yeah, yeah, that's what's good. Yeah, he said everything was fine with him, and what he said was, as far as the big situation, obviously there is no debate, but I can go back there. Yeah, that's easy. It's difficult to compact the rain. I still got another 3 trucks going in between. But I'll have to pack them layer by layer. I don't want to get too high. And so the steel building arrives, so that'll be going up pretty quick. And figured start up. My wife and I, I mean, she had to take another year over there because once we found out about the delay, so now it looks like it's not summer this year, it's summer next year. When she's got to go to school. What's coming along? Yeah. Good. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, it's good meeting you, Pop. Not likewise, likewise. And, like I said, hopefully everything goes smooth. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You have a good one. You too. If there's anything at all, get any complaints or anything, like I said, if I'm oblivious of it, I'm sorry. I'll fix everything I can. Here's my card, so you'll have my number. I appreciate you. All right. All righty. Yes, sir. Have a good one.
Okay, folks, apologize for the delay. Meeting with the inspector. Well, folks, it's somewhat compacted.
But how's everybody doing out there? Let's see what we got here. Hey, Andrew, when are you going to come by and give me a hand doing whatever? I'd love to see you, man. Just whether you come by and help or just hang out. So if you're out there, let's see. I'm getting things climbing on my phone here. Okay. Let's see, Jeff. Do I have Fitbit to count my steps? Yeah, currently I'm on 8,000 steps. And I'm usually at 10,000 by 1 o'clock, but I'm taking it easy because I've got the knee issue. How many steps per gallon of gas? It's a good question. And spray some water on it, let it dry, then compact it the other direction. You'll be ready for. Well, yeah, sort of. I actually. It's actually pretty wet right now because it was pouring all day. So not a speck of dust has come up. So in some places I can still. I left footprints, and it takes 2 or 3 more compactions before this thing's ready for the next fill. Because actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to compact it again and again and again over the weekend, and then Tuesday I should get another couple mountains. Basically, I need 60 yards of fill. So 60 yards of fill will run me about $600 or so. So yeah. So the deal is I have to raise this quite a bit because currently as it is, it's going to be right now it's the average is about 10 inches below the finished floor. And I need it to be 6 inches below the finished floor. So the 6 yards will do it. Every 10 yards is approximately an inch, if I'm not mistaken, if I did my calculations right. And but yeah, with the fresh fill, I will be if unless it rains like this, then I'll be spraying it down and compacting it again. But right now it's too wet to give it another pass. It's in some places it's mush and it's difficult to walk through, and it's relatively level, but I mean, but I have to put some stakes out here and stuff like that. So anyway, let me see camera and yeah. So I met the okay. So I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but a certain, we'll call him the bad neighbor because that's what everybody calls him around the neighborhood. So it's not, I didn't come up with it, but I found out too late, that that he's the type, he's the guy that will report everything. I got a guy like that at home in Miami. He used to be. Now he's slowed down considerably. 20 years has mellowed him out, and he can barely walk. He can barely get out of the house, and I think he's only like 70. So, but 20 years have mellowed him out. Luckily, I don't have to wait 20 years for this one to mellow out because he won't last that long. He's already 84, 83, 84. So, but the guy at home, oh my God, he would complain about my dog barking, and I understand that. I understand, if a dog's barking, at night. It was an outdoor dog, and it would bark. But the thing is, occasionally it would bark at 5 a.m. because there was a jogger at 5 a.m. So the dog would bark, annoy the neighbor. Okay, so I would bring the dog in, and then the neighbor would complain again about the dog barking. My dog's inside. Officer, oh well, bring him down. They still think it was my dog. The dog dies. 2 months later, I get a complaint about the dog barking. And I told the officer, this time it was beautiful. I told the officer, I have no dog. And at the same time, the other neighbor's dog, really good friends of mine, was barking because the cops were there. The cops are always, the police, as soon as they arrive, a dog is going to bark, you know. But dogs bark. That's what they do. They're protecting the home. But regardless, thank God I got so much land in here that a dog barking should not be an issue. Chickens, dogs, I mean, there's all sorts of noise. Mostly it's very, very peaceful, but there is the occasional constant bark. There's the occasional neighbor revving his car. There's the occasional, guy playing Hispanic music really loud on Saturdays as he's driving by the road that's 3,000 feet away, But so there is the occasional, and every noise carries out in the country. But getting back to this guy, he would complain about everything. He would, and it looks like I moved into a neighborhood where, despite the fact that I have fantastic neighbors on one side of my property, the other side, not so much. He's always been he complains about multiple things, and I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did to set him off. Because the thing is, I mean, I do have a forward and aggressive style. That's just me. And I think maybe the fact that it's just a personality clash. I mean, I'm fine with him, but apparently he's not with me. So anyway, he basically told me to go home to my kind back in Miami. And I'm thinking to myself, as a native Floridian, I should take offense to that. But whatever. So, well, folks, so that brings me to the current story. I just had a visit from the county. From it's some stupidity, It's the original. We'll call it. Where do you see smoke? I don't see smoke. That's all clouds. I don't see any smoke. Well, so it's a very, very overcast day. It's all completely gray up top. See, unless I misunderstood the statement. So regarding the bad neighbor, he originally told me on the corner is where we place our trash because it's a rural neighborhood. So place it on the corner. And I've been doing that. I've been placing my household garbage on the corner. And then apparently he reported that, and now I would give him the benefit of the doubt normally. And I would say, oh, well, Public Works probably called him up. Because here's the story. He's got an exemption with the garbage service around here. And the garbage service lets him, because he's old, because and because it's a long walk and stuff, he doesn't have to have it's only one bag. He gets one bag on the curb and they pick it up for him, as opposed to the rest of us having to lug our bin, our 96-pound rolling bin over to the curb, which I prefer the 96-pound bin because it can hold a lot more than, and well, granted, we have tractors, we could just load up the bucket and just dump the bags on the, but regardless, But I don't. I mean, come on, I'm one guy in an RV. I have one bag, maybe two at the most, and that's because of Amazon packages. Well, so what happens? He see, if I was a naive person, if I was a, you know, uh, I initially thought, well, he probably got, uh, since he has that exemption, Public Works noticed he had more than a bag, and thinking that my bags were his, they called him, and that was my thought originally until I talked to Public Works. Nicest people that you ever could talk to, very nice. And they told me flat out, and they named him by name. They told me flat out that no, he was reporting me because he thought that I was getting garbage pickup for free. They assured him that no, such is not the case. I have they did the research. I have a permit. After 4 months, normally, they start charging for garbage pickup after 4 months here. And sure enough, uh, I've paid my impact fees. I've paid my tax. I pay taxes. I pay impact fees. Don't get me started. So I have a right to garbage collection. They're sending me the it should be arrived today, so I'm looking forward to it. They're sending me the bins, which is great because then I could stick them all in the bins and then they just, you know, dump them and done. Well, so Public Works, uh, hey, they have their procedure and they had to call code enforcement, and code enforcement calls building services because it's a code enforcement checks on the and somehow, you know, I think that either squeaky wheel gets the grease, either he's really, really complaining very loudly, and they just, or he knows somebody over there that's. I mean, certainly not Public Works. They don't like him. They told me just as good. I mean, he insulted them. He and they were busy and they said they brushed. Bottom line is, um, bottom line is, folks, and I'm not naming names, I'm not naming counties, so this is all completely anonymous. I'm just telling you, I got a very lousy, lousy neighbor that does not mind his own business, doesn't want to be friends with anybody. Um, and the other day, my good neighbor, um, I'll tell you, see, there's the good neighbor, there's the good neighbors, which is all of them. I met the one in front of me. I met the four next to me, and then there's the one very good neighbor. So the very good neighbor, he and I chat twice a week. He comes over all the time, and I go over to his shop. He's a fellow woodworker, folks. Um, so uh, he basically um, he told me, I just buy him a bottle of whiskey or no. Oh, I remember what happened. Yeah, yeah. He called me the other day. The sheriff came to his place. You guys might have heard the story. I said it on the when it happened. He called me because the sheriff came to his place saying that there was a cell phone call from the area, and so he called me to see if I was okay. I said, "Yeah, I'm fine, man. Let me go check on you know who." And despite the fact that I will not say a word to him, my wife would not let me, uh, even if I wanted to. Because special circumstances, yeah, but under normal circumstances, I'm not allowed to talk to him at all because he is persona non grata with my wife and my entire family and my cousins and well, and practically all the neighbors. They don't care, but they're they know him. So then um I went over. I saw him outside, and I go, "Hey, did you?" I called him by name. He was, and I shouted over to him. I called him two or three times. He would completely ignore me. I go, "Did you call 911? Because there's someone over here. Is everything okay over there?" Is what I asked. Because I mean, there's ignoring somebody, and then there's, you know, ignoring if they die, and you know, while I might wish someone to push up the daisies, I am not going to instigate it or or help it along. So, well, he completely ignored me, and well, the sheriff said, "Look, if he's walking around, it probably wasn't him that called." So, but that tells me that even in a moment of crisis, he's not going to listen to me. So, I'll take the same attitude toward him. I mean, when I had growing up, we all got one bad neighbor. Growing up, I had the original bad neighbor. I could say his name now. He's long gone, Mr. Gwynn. You know, his name was Mr. Gwynn, and then he had a really horrible son who was we called him Hunch. My parents did that. I mean, my parents were young. I was just practically a baby, but Mr. Gwynn would call the police on everything. And then his son, maybe when I was about 15, bought the house on our other side. So we were surrounded by Gwynns. And his son was just he we called him Hunch because he's always like he had a very bad back and stuff. That was probably mean, but if he was a nice guy, we wouldn't have done that. And we got along okay. I got along with them all, but my parents did not take anything from anybody, and constantly. Oh, I'll never forget the time where my dad was putting up a ribbon driveway. He's a contractor. He put up a ribbon driveway. Mr. Gwynn called the county because he said the property line was not correct. Now my dad and I know this as well. We're very very good on property lines. Don't tell me it's wrong and it's encroaching. And anyways, there's nothing that can be done except, oh, okay, we'll move it. Have a nice day. It's not like it's. But this guy was just like, he's complaining, you're encroaching on my space and this and that and this. Bottom line, county came out here. County came out with a surveyor. No, in fact, your fence is 4 inches into our property line. Ooh, man. My dad was just smiling, and he goes, and my mom was there too. And this was the beautiful part. I was there also. I heard the whole conversation. Talk about impressionable. Mr. Gwynn says, well, completely embarrassed, tail tucked between his legs. He said, hey, don't people in glass houses, He goes, well, if you want, I can move my fence and stuff. He goes, my mom basically told him straight out, no, that's all right. We don't stoop to your level. It's fine with us, as long as you're aware of it. And that was the end of it. But man, it's like, yeah. And I was proud of her. I mean, I mean, property lines are property lines. I just yesterday, no, less than a week ago, the neighbor was mowing another neighbor was mowing his fence line on my side, which actually is my property. I was going to go out there, but I figured, I mowed it after again because the guy I mulched the leaves and I got the new mulcher. So, but I don't know if she was just passing through the street from one side of their property to the other, or if she was actually mowing. This was the daughter that was out there mowing. But I was going to go out there and go, hey, listen, you don't have to do that. I'll be happy to mow my property and stuff. He may not be aware that from the road to his fence is actually my property, because there's a private road that goes straight across my property. Anyway, so getting back to this story, he calls he calls Public Works. Public Works calls whoever they have to call, code enforcement gets involved, and code enforcement calls building department. Building department comes out here and goes, "Man, I've never seen such a cleaner site. It's a beautiful site. You know, where's your dumpster?" And I go, "Well, I don't need a dumpster. I don't have any trash, but if you want, So I bought a Bagster, and I'll be happy to put it over on the side where it's accessible. Um, you know, so in the end, my neighbor got another eyesore, because eventually, when I do put the dumpster, I know exactly where it's going because it's the only place it can go. In the front, I can't put it because the trucks sink. Can't put it on that side because of the septic tank. Obviously, I'm not going to put it on the slab or on the new building slab, which is a whole new site. I need space around for the trucks to drive for the new site. So then, where's the only place it can go? Over by the RV, which is right smack dab in his clear view of this place. So he's going to have another annoying eyesore, and so will I. So I'll hold off putting it as until someone tells me. But basically the county, the building department said, "You're fine. You're in fact more than fine. We've never seen anything so spick and span clean." Public Works said, "You're fine. You're paying you're paying your garbage tax and stuff." And so today, you saw me rushing earlier to meet the code enforcement officer, and he said, "No, you're fine. I just came by to close it out." So, um, I'm good with all of that, and I told him, "Listen, if there's any issue, and he gave me his card, and if there's any issue whatsoever, um, call me up. I'll be happy to, hey, if there's something that I'm not compliant with, there are so many municipal codes for every single county. You cannot be expected to know every one of them. They say ignorance of the law is, well, that's fine. So I'm guilty of whatever it is, but let me know what it is so I can fix it and I'll try to resolve it. Let's be reasonable, and I'm trying to avoid these things ahead of time because they cost money. You know, it cost me, for instance, the container again because the neighbor reported it because they don't go out. I found out the building department basically told me that code enforcement only enforces those when the neighbor calls. Other than that, they don't really care. They've got too much work as it is. They're too busy as it is with the complaints. So regardless, I put a container out here. Didn't realize I'm not allowed to put a container on a vacant property, despite the fact it's to house my mower and my landscaping stuff because I was cutting trees, or rather, not cutting trees, cutting branches and brush and ramble, preparing the property. That everything you see here was because of my, you know, hard work. Well, so the neighbor didn't like it. It was an eyesore. He basically so in the end I had to remove it. Uh, I sold it for more money than I got it, so I mean I made a little money there. However, and a lot of you guys know this story. The uh, the stuff had to go somewhere, and I had some stuff, and so I basically had to purchase storage because when I wasn't out on the property, I'm not. I mean, yeah, I know this place is great. This place is wonderful. It's a very great neighborhood, and now I got cameras up, and now I got and neighbors watching and everything. But back then, I was alone and didn't have any, so I had to pay for storage. Uh, so what the container sufficed for a while, but then I had to pay for storage for all my equipment. I had to go back and forth and a little extra gas. Well, I believe in karma. Okay, I believe in karma. I believe in turn the other cheek, but there's Jesus says something else about getting slapped. So but don't be a fool. That kind of thing. Well, bottom line is every cent and every uh, minute that I've used to in excess that this would have saved me and that I had to use, uh, I've just reallocated it. Let me give you an example. I spent X amount of money in storage fees. That X amount of money was taken away from the budget for the trees that were going to go on between the bad neighbor and myself. So now the bad neighbor gets to enjoy the entire construction process, as neat as it is. So I'm a neat person. I'm not a slob or anything like that. But and I don't care who looks. It's all legal. I'm not doing anything illegal. But basically, the RV that's out here, the dumpster that's coming out here, the steel building, the the entire the building for the next 2-3 years, including the pool that I'm going to eventually build after that the house. Ooh, got a little caterpillar there on the phone. Um, every bit of an eyesore that, which I don't consider it an eyesore because it's mine, but he's used to his lot, and I don't want to. I'm not vindictive, but fair is fair. If if you're going to take money out of my pocket and make it and make me pay for storage for something that's none of your business, then by all means, I'm going to reallocate that money from, you know, I could take the money from everywhere, anywhere. I could take it from, I could take it from the trees I put on the good neighbor's lawn. Well, I'm not going to do that. If I have a choice between spending X amount of money for a bunch of trees, by the way, look at them. They're growing. They're growing, and and it costs them too because the good neighbors now get small trees and they take another year or two to grow. I would have put bigger ones, and I was going to start with the other side, but no, not now, not now. Now, you know, it's one of the last things. Now, basically, I lost the budget for the landscaping on that side. So there's my little rant. Um, yeah, but I'm happy. Everything's above board here as always. I mean, you gotta, folks. My look, my years as a contractor. I gotta tell you, the most important thing is get along with the municipalities. It's we've had. I remember my father and I, whenever we had a job in Miami Gardens, and you know what? I don't mind burning that bridge. Miami Gardens, at least back 10, 20 years ago, building department sucks. Like you would not believe. Miami Dade, phenomenal. Miami Gardens, the worst. You try building anything in Miami Gardens. And Hialeah Gardens wasn't that far off, but Miami Gardens, oh my God. There was this, well, I'll spell it out, BITCH, of a gatekeeper there who had an attitude like you wouldn't believe. And everything, and you know, some people will come up, the people over here, even when they're tired, the people here at the county and the people in Miami's county at the building department, you're going up there and you're asking them even a stupid question. They're very nice to you. They will answer you. They will help you. They will not give you attitude and stuff. Um, this girl had, and she was pretty, and she had this face like I'm the queen bee, and if you don't do my bidding, I'm not going to even answer your question. That kind of thing. And she was the gatekeeper. May I see this inspector? No, I'm sorry. He's, I mean, you know, no, we don't see any. The inspectors don't see anybody. And it's like, but if you catch her on a good day, may I see this inspector? Yeah, sure, no problem, because I've seen it happen. So, completely unfair treatment of people. Anyways, that's Miami Gardens building department. They were horrible. They were horrible, absolutely horrible. And we stopped building there. We completely stopped building there. Our company just anytime we got a job there, we said, I'm sorry, we don't do that area because of the building department. Straight out and see you later. City of Miami, um, building department, they were a little different. It was tough, but it was tough because of the over regulations. Okay, so they had a lot of regulations. So you go there and oh God, you know what? I'm used to overregulation. I live in Miami, for goodness sake. They can regulate you to death. Well, I've gotten a lot patient. I got very patient over the years, so I have no problem with overregulation as long as it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, well, they'll hear from my lawyer. But for the most part, I don't mind. So that's why I don't mind. It bothers me. It's like when a policeman pulls you over for something that's not an infraction. Oh, I noticed your whatever. I mean, they'll pull you over for a minor infraction. Not for like something stupid like speeding or an accident or something. But if they pull you over to be helpful, oh, I see your tires low, or I see you've got these things on the back of your truck that they look like you forgot them up. Oh, thank you, officer. That. But when an officer pulls you over for something like that, number one, you're very thankful, but the act of being pulled over makes you nervous like crazy. Always does. It's normal. Well, the same thing happens here. The act of I guess violation, if you will. It feels like you're to a small amount, minor amount of being violated. That someone has the nerve to report you um, for something that's clearly not their business. Clearly not their business. You know, and it's a darn shame, is what it is. It's a darn shame. You know, and anyways, case was resolved. No issue. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful to the county because now I got my garbage cans. And I meant to call them, but just hadn't gotten around to it because I was told by a supposedly good neighbor to put my trash on the corner without a bin. You know, like I said, if you're not aware of the ordinances, and there are a lot of them, they can creep up on you, and that's what happens. So, folks, my advice if you're moving to a new town, morning, Glenn. My advice if you're moving to a new town, get to know as many ordinances as you can. Get to know your neighbors, and but don't be naive like I was, thinking every neighbor's a good neighbor, because I got the one bad one. I got the one rotten one. And then and basically, uh, you know, expect that you may get a call for whatever reason. You're new to the neighborhood. You may get a call saying, "Hey, this is not the way we do things," and it's understandable. Every place is different, you know. But anyway, so folks, it's starting to rain here, so I am going to bid you all. By the way, Andrew, if you're still on, please come by. Give me a call. I'll try to text you in a little while, because I haven't seen you in a while. I want you to see how the place is coming along. And well, that's it for me. I compacted today, and and it's too wet to do anything else. And my leg and my elbow or my leg and my arm are killing me, so I'm not going to do anything regardless. I think I'll go out and get some chocolate milk and perhaps window opening measurements, some rough opening measurements. So when I continue with the project. Later, folks. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and I'll see you on the next live, which I don't know, maybe tomorrow. I might be compacting some more. I'm hoping to get the fill soon, because like I said, that's a little too short. I gotta mark everything and level everything off. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with their car. That one neighbor. Nice people, super nice people, but either they're getting old or they just don't know how to open a door in their car because every time the alarm goes off, at least it goes off often enough that it seems like every time. Thanks, Glenn. Wish you guys the best as well. You guys have a wonderful. Today's Thursday. Have a wonderful weekend. If I don't see you, but probably be out here compacting again tomorrow. Later.